Hey guys, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today's video is going to be a bronzer declutter. Slowly but surely, I have been making my way through various sections of my collection. You can go check out the other things that I have decluttered up here. Today we are going to be focused on bronzers, and honestly, I think this is not even enough. I still have a ton more in the drawer that I've got to really refine, but this is gonna make a dent into it. So let's go ahead and dive in. First, starting off with some Physicians Formula bronzers, and these are actually why I say I haven't made a dent. I probably could do more, is because I have 3 that I'm gonna get rid of, but a couple years back I did a complete Physicians Formula bronzer overview review talking about finishes, which skin type or skin tone they'd be good for, and so I got a lot of bronzers. I mean, it's a little outdated. I'll link it here if you want to see it. Outdated, so bronzers have probably come and gone from the collection. It's not complete at this point, but close enough if you want a reference. So first, I will start with these. These are the Glow Boosting Sunstones in the shade light to medium, and I'm just not a pearl person. I have yet to find a product where I really love the payoff and the effect that they give, and I just find I have to swirl and build to kind of get what I want out of these. I have products that I don't have to work as hard for, so I'm always going to reach for those first. Then the other two, this one is the Season to Season bronzer in light to medium as well, and the premise behind this is that they have sectioned the bronzer off for the shade that you might need according to each season. My problem with this is that it didn't give me a wide enough swing in shade range for how my skin actually fluctuates season from season, and also these sections are teeny tiny for the size of brush that I personally like to use for bronzer, so I never reached for this either. Then the last one is the Airbrushing Bronzing Veil Deluxe Edition in the shade light to medium. This guy was good. In fact, it's like a satin to matte kind of bronzer. Not too warm, not too cool, like very middle of the road. But now that the butter bronzer's out, it's no competition. I find it just more creamy, it's easier to blend, and this guy is kind of chalky in comparison. However, the finish is still great, and the pigment is still great, so to the extent that you are not a fan of the butter bronzer solely because of the scent, or you're sensitive to that for whatever reason, this might be a good alternative for you, if it's still available. Again, this is so old, I'm not even sure if it's still available, so you have to go check and see, but it could be a good alternative. Okay, next up, oh my gosh, you guys, my extensions are out. I haven't had extensions out in a long time, like for an extended period of time. Currently getting some new shades, so we'll have them back in, but in the meantime, got a sad ponytail happening. Let's talk about some higher end bronzers or contours. First of which is this duo, which I think I've talked about maybe a few times before, not liking it here on the channel. It's from Makeup Forever. It's their Sculpting Kit, and this was just too dang powdery for me. Both the highlight and the contour, just not the smoothest or most blendable bronzer that I have, so that was kind of an easy no for me. And then this one is not an easy no, but man, when packaging sucks, it sucks. So this is the Kevyn Aucoin Creamy Glow Duo number 4 Sculpting Medium Kit in Candlelight, and the product, actually I haven't really used the product a whole lot. It's not very travel friendly. It is in, and hopefully they've changed this because I bought this at a makeup show 3 years ago, I want to say, but the packaging here, you press on this little gold thing to open it up, but it's so prominent, like it sticks out so far that it could just be sitting in my drawer and get bumped by something, and it just pops right open, and it's dinged up. I really haven't used this, but you'll see in a close-up here, it's so dinged up from getting put in a travel bag or a purse or the drawer, and just other products eat into it, and so it just hasn't been the one that I reached for just because of lack of convenience. The next we want to talk about are from NYC. This one, it looks disgusting. It's so old. It's the NYC Smooth Skin Bronzing Face Powder in Sunny. Cult classic. I feel like this is old school YouTube. Everyone loved it. Mine is just so old it doesn't function in the way that I used to love it. No fault of it, it's just like it's expired, it's gotta go, but I did love it. Unfortunately, I don't think I even could repurchase because I think NYC took all of their stuff out of US drugstores or stores, period. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that happened a couple months, if not a year back. Then I'm also getting rid of the Sun to Sun bronzing powder, which I also really like because you not only got a good size bronzer, like this was big enough to stick a decent size bronzer brush in, but also a golden highlighter, like a great duo for summer and super affordable. But again, they're not available here anymore. I don't think. The next two are from e.l.f. These are their baked bronzing powders, and I know there's a trick to these, at least with the highlighters anyway, where you scrape off the top to get the product and make it more pigmented, but that is just more work than I want to do with bronzer, coming from a girl who's willing to crush up eyeshadows to create one mega shadow. But on a day-to-day basis, like I don't do that daily, and I don't want to do this daily either. So I just have a couple of, you know, better bronzers I don't have to work as hard for. Then I also have a few from Ruby Kiss. These, I actually haven't even used these. I ordered these online because it's so hard to find these in stores. And I just chose the wrong shade, so haven't had a chance to use them to know whether they're good or bad, so I'll be donating these because they're perfectly good, brand new. They're just a little too deep for me, and these are called the 3D Face Creators. Here is one from Pixi. It is their highlight and contour palette, and this I'm not getting rid of for lack of loving it. I like the highlight powders. Well, this one in particular, the bronzers are too deep, but there were two of these that came out, and of the lighter one, I even featured that in a favorites video, but it was one of those products that I just realized it was not the right tone for me. One day, when you look in the mirror and you're like, has that always looked like that on me? The bronzer, I just realized, looked a little too yellow on my skin tone. Like it just was not laying like I wanted a bronzer to lay. I don't know why it took me that long to figure it out, but all of a sudden it was like I just couldn't wear it anymore, and so I didn't. And because I'm not reaching for it, and this one happens to be too deep, and this is totally unused, this can go to a new, be donated, and the other one can go to a new home because it is still pretty fully intact as well. So again, nothing wrong with these. The formula is great. I used it for a really long time because I like the formula, and the fact that you could mix and match, you know, highlights and contours in here. It's just a matter of that the bronzers didn't flatter me. It's the home stretch, guys. 3 more. 2 from Wet n Wild. The first of which is the Mega Cushion Contour. I actually decluttered the highlighter of these, although between the two, I like the highlighter way more than I like the contour. I just have discovered, and I say in that video too, I'm not a cushion girl. When it comes to formats, cushion is not my thing, especially for bronzer. I find with something I need to buff and blend, the patting motion that I found I had to do with this, just not conducive to the amount, like the surface area I just wanted to cover with my bronzer. So that is why I didn't and haven't really reached for that. The other one I'm getting rid of is the Color Icon Bronzer. Don't even know what this is called because the words are worn off, but it's in the shade Bikini Contest. It's the big old bronzing like starburst thing that they have in store, and this is just one that I don't reach for. I think it's because it's a tad too deep for me unless it's in the summer, but it's just a tad too deep for me, and so I don't find myself reaching for it, so it's gotta go. Plus it's old. And the last, and this is something I've said I hadn't liked before right when I hauled it, I believe. This is from the brand Essence, and it's the contour powder. Has bronzer and highlighter on either side. The highlighter's teeny tiny over here. Wasn't a fan of that. Just really lack of pigmentation across the board is why I don't like this. The bronzer you couldn't really build it up to be much of anything. The highlighter was chalky, wasn't really much of a highlight per se. It just kind of left a cast on the skin. So yeah, this just was not for me. And that's it. Those are some of the bronzers that are going out the door for me. Let me know what you think. Is it a huge mistake to get rid of one, some, all of these? Let me know down in the comments below, and let me know what if you have been decluttering lately, what you've been getting rid of. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye guys.